Good evening. We are on Daf Kuf Yud Aleph Amud Aleph, 21 lines down. We are still talking about the Mishmars, the idea that with one, if you gave one item to the one Mishmar of the Kohanim and another one to another, what happens? Tanya Brata says, Amar Rabbi says, the Rabbi Yehuda, according to Rabbi Yehuda, Im Kayama Hashem, if the Korban Hashem is still there, yani they didn't bring it as a Korban yet, Hazir Hashem Etzil Kesef, they return it to the money, which is back to Yedaya from Yehoyarif. But we know that Rabbi Yehuda says that the money goes to the Asham, not vice versa. It's where the week of Yehoyariv's watch, the Mishmar, has ended, and Yehoyariv did not ask for the money, and therefore therefore we see that it's there they were mochelet. Amar Rabbi says, if the Asham is still there, the money goes back to where the Asham is. Of course, we know that already. We said it before. When it says referring to the case, both of their watches finished already. And they didn't ask for it from each other. Therefore, maybe I think they each were mochel each other. And therefore, they should keep the Asham and Yedaya should keep the money. And therefore we say, since he didn't ask the money from Yehoyariv, they have to give back to Yehoyariv. Okay. Next part of the Mishnah said, someone brought his someone must bring his someone must return the robbed item before bringing Kurban Hashem. I already know that. He brings an Hashem besides for the ayil, besides the ram, besides for what else was brought. Yani, we see that the word milevad says that besides the korban you're bringing something else as well, which we're understanding it, which means you have to return the money, the robbed item first. That's the case, that the word milevad teaches you that something else goes first. Milevad olat habokir. Pasuk says that regarding korban musaf, it says that milevad, besides for the morning olah, that's for musaf you bring. The Gemara says, does that mean that musaf goes first? How do we know that nothing shall go before the morning korban? Tamid. That's referring to the first one, right? So nowadays we know pashut. Okay, fine. You can't pray musaf before shahrit, but so we need a pasuk also teach you that the tefillah, the korban, musaf has to go after the korban tamid, the morning korban. And it says also milevad. Milevad doesn't mean that something else goes first. Otherwise, that would mean the musaf goes first, but we know that doesn't exist. Marale has to explain to him, Ana me asher yechaper bo nafkale. I learned from the other part of the pasuk, which says that it shall give him kapara, which is in the future. Va'adano chiper, meaning he's bringing the korban, but he's not mechupar, he's not forgiven until he brings the money. Okay. Last part of the Mishnah said that if you gave the main item back, but not the fifth, you are still mechaper. Bring Braita from elsewhere, from Hekdesh. If someone misused Hekdesh, it's called Me'ilah, and you brought the payment for Bet HaMikdash, but you did not bring the Korban Hashem yet, if you brought the Korban Hashem, but did not bring the payment for the Me'ilah, both ways, you're not Yotzeh. You have to bring the ram with the thing to be mechaper. How do we know that if you brought the Korban Hashem before you brought the payment, you are not Yotzeh? Be'el ha'asham, with the ram. Ha'asham bikvar, sounds like you already brought the ram. You might think the same way that bringing the ram and the Korban Hashem is to make sure you get kapara for hekdesh. So too, the chomesh, the 20% fee for stealing somebody's item, which also stop the kapara. The pasuk says, "Be'el ha'asham v'nislach lo." Ayil v'asham me'akvim hekdesh. Only the ram and the asham is me'akev, stops the hekdesh from being kapara. Ve'en chomesh me'akev, but not chomesh is me'akev. V'lamed hekdesh me'hedyot. Now we're going to apply it to ourselves. We learn hekdesh to teach us something by regular cases of fees, like chomesh by regular robbery. Also, we learn the regular fees regarding from Hekdesh. We learn Hekdesh from a regular case. Ma Asham Dehatam Kid, just like over the word the Korban Asham, when the word Asham meant the kid in the main item, like we had yesterday's daf. Af Asham Dehacha Kid, and also over here means Asham means kid. The Hediot we learn something from Hekdesh to Hediot. Is Ma Hekdesh in Chumash Makir, just like over there, Hekdesh does not stop. The Chumash does not stop kapara. Af Hediot Nami in Chumash Makir. This is what we said in Mishnah. That the fifth fee does not stop kapara. 10th perek. Hagozel uma'achil et banav. Someone stole something and he gave it to his children. V'aniach lifnei, or he left it for them as an inheritance after he dies. Piturim mishlam, they don't have to replace it to the owner. V'mayad davar sheyesh bo achlut, but if it's karka, real property, hayv mishlam, they have to return it. Right, so marach hizda gazav lo te'ashu ba'alim. Right, so when we go sneak peek into Baba Masiyah, in order for something to transfer properties, you need yeush. Assuming it wasn't purchased. If someone lost something or stolen from him, the transfer of property is due to the owner giving up hope. Right? If he gave up on ever retrieving it, that allows it to transfer over to the new person. So if you stole something and the guy did not have yush, and then someone else took it from the robber and ate it. The original owner can either collect from the robber, or he collects from the other guy, because my time why since he didn't give up on it yet. It's still considered his, so it doesn't make a difference who ate it or who used it. He can still get it from either of them, the robber or the eater. Tanan. Mishnah though, if someone stole something and gave it to his children, and gave it to them or he gave them as an inheritance, he doesn't have to pay back. You have to have his question against hizda, because you don't have to pay back. Or we're going to read this answer a few times. But when does that apply? It's after Yeush, after the guy got it, after he stole it, after he gave up, and that's why the children are patur, because it's transferred. If he left it as inheritance, they're patur. That sounds like the property of the inheritor is like the property of the purchaser, meaning it's like a transfer of property, the same way the person buys something from someone else, it's like a change of domain. So too, it's change of domain from the guy to his children. The same way if you were to sell it, it's considered a change. So too, if he dies, it gives his children also considered change of domain, they'd acquire it. Therefore, even if it's there, you don't have to return it. Rav Amar says, it does not change anything. And therefore, they do have to return it. In our case, why come our Mishnah is not have to return it if it's not considered a change? Where it says our case, our Mishnah is referring to where they ate it. That's why the Gemara has the Hamid Hazeh. But the second part about that says, Mishnah says, if it was a real item, then you have to return it. You have to pay it. Because Michlad the Haresh came at the skin. And the first case also talking about stuff that's there. If their father left them real property, they have to pay from the real property. Right? So he's changing the Mishnah a bit. We're not going to like it a lot, but it sounds like Ravan's trying to answer that if they can't pay back cash, but the father left them real property like karka, they could use the karka to pay back the stolen item. But we're not going to like that. That Rabbi Shimon Berer, Rabbi told his son Rabbi Shimon, doesn't mean that the guy actually has karka. Rather, if the stolen item was a cow and the guy uses the children can use it to a cow and they can use it to plow, or use it as donkey to guide it. They return it for their father's honor. So we see that the Mishnah is referring to real property, is referring to the property that's still there, and not just property that the father has to repay. So we see that you have to pay it back, even if it's there. Advance explaining everything else. He says when he dies, Rabbi Yoshia will come out to greet him because I always teach the Mishnayot according to his explanations. Rabbi Yoshia explained the Braita. Rabbi Yoshia had a Braita that answers everything. Hagozel machil benav, he stole and steals something, gives to his children. But to the Muslim, they are patur to pay back. Heniach lefneim, but follow to as the inheritance, gizlat kemet, and if the item is still there, chayav to return it. And the item's not there anymore, piturin patur. Heniach lehem avihem achlut lechasim, if the father left them real property, yani karka, real estate, hayavin l'shalem der chayav to pay back, right? So everything's hunky dory according to the Boshaya. So Ravra got bailed out. Amar Mor. And the item's not there anymore, you're patur to give it back. Name to have it to the question against Rav Chizda. Mara says, no, there's not a problem because that's after the guy gave up. So that's why you're patur to give it back. Mar Mor, if the item is stolen and still there, to give it back. To have to question against Rav who says that you have to return it. You don't have to return it, sorry. So how come the brother says you're chayav? The opposite here in that case is lifnei yush is before yush. All right, so depending on the easy answer to solve all questions lately has been whether or not the yush has passed. If you have to return it, that means the yush did not pass. If it was not, did not have to return it, the yush already passed. Okay. They learned the Rami Bar Hama's halacha in the following brayta. The father died and left the money that was used as interest in the loan. Even though they know it's interest, they don't have to return it. Rami Bahama says, this teaches us the property of the inheritor is similar to the property of the purchaser. Right? Meaning, same way if you sell it, a purchaser doesn't, it's like a change of domain. So to an inheritor is considered a change of domain because the kids don't have to return it. But Rava says, no, that's not approved. It's not different. Why don't the kids have to return it? Is the pasuk says, "Al tikach me'ito neshech v'tabi." Don't take from him interest. Go give back the interest to the guy who borrowed so he can live with you. We don't take interest from our Jewish brothers. Therefore, we see from the pasuk though that the Torah is warning this guy to do it. The children have no responsibility to make sure to return that money. So it's not a proof that the inheritors are a change of domain. The one who learned Rami Bar Hamaz and then referring to the Braita regarding interest, Kol came out in that for sure hold regarding theft. Also, you are chapatur to return it. The case of Rami Bar Hama, that applies in the Mishnah regarding theft. But if regarding according to the Braita, maybe Rami Hama would agree to Rava that you don't have to return it. Someone give it to his children, paying. And give it to them as inheritance because they're adults, they have to pay. Kitanim, if they're children, they're patur from paying. If you want to say Gedolim, if the adult children want to say, we don't know what our father's deals with you were, between the patur. So weird phrasing. Mishum damri and anu in paturim, because they say they don't know your patur. That sounds like if they do know and they could say it, they're still patur. But we're teaching people to lie. Amarava hachikamar no. Gedolim she'amru yodim anu hezbenot she'heshev abinu immecha velo pashlach gabe velo midi paturim. If the adult children can confidently tell this guy, we know and we're involved in our father's dealings, and we know for a fact he doesn't owe you anything, then you're patur. Says how someone steals something, gives to his kids. They're patur to pay back. They left him as inheritance and they used it. Whether they're an adult or a katan. It says, can you make a child chayav for eating something? Let it be considered like a damager. And we know the katan damages patur. So how do you say over here that you be chayav? Amar papa heniach kamar heniach lifnehem ba'adayin lo achadu. When are you chayav to return it? Is if the father left it as inheritance and they did not eat it yet. Ben gedolim ben ketanim hayavin, whether they're adult or a minor, they have to return it because they have no business touching the guy's property if it's still there.